So, let's move on directly to the beginning of the assault. When did you first realize that you were being attacked? I explained to the audience that essentially the territory of the plant was divided into 3 parts. The territory that is closer to the river and to the bridge was turned by our battle commanders from the Stugna and Paragon units. The right side of the plant, as seen from the river, went to units of the Russian Volunteer Corps. And conditionally there is still a center left. According to our plan, the solution was the following. The one who advances the most and quickly storms the central buildings, led by the administrative building or the tower, right? What was it called?
Adminka, they called it.
Adminka. Yes. The RVC men made more successful progress, and in fact, the main thing, the main building, the Adminka building, was stormed and taken by RVC fighters, just right where the banner stood. Please tell us about how the assault took place. How did you understand that this was already some kind of serious attack? That they are already going to storm you and not retreat after the first failures?
Well,
And where were you at the time when the assault began?
as if I realized that active actions began and the ring began to thicken after its position. Well, they just rolled back because they were being attacked. They simply retreated because they were being attacked. They moved further into position. The position is called
Yes,
300.
this is where the infirmary was. Do I understand correctly?
Yes, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So they rolled back. There was a report that there was an offensive, and as it were, I realized that, well, some kind of unit had arrived. There will be a battle soon. We need to somehow try to strengthen our positions. To which Krasavchik, who was the senior there, shouts, we need to retake position, go forward. I say, you're doing something very stupid. We are the defense. We must hold the line. So he simply did not react to my opinion. He ignored it. Because of that, the guys got hurt there and the battle ensued. But the group that attacked us, that is carried out the offensive, worked professionally.
This is about RVC fighters through the main large workshop 8 meters high.
Yes, there was the
The
call.
very first building, yes, there they launched a counterattack on our positions.
Right.
So,
Well, most likely, probably due to that time, a full-fledged offensive did not happen. The very first attack, it was not possible to get everyone together, well, regularly speaking, in one heap. That's why it turned out that 300, or more precisely at the position 300, I apologize, they retreated from that position. But at night, while on duty, there was most likely an accurate strike, but as far as I understand, that is, the organization that was advancing, that this particular group made a maneuver using an ATM mine. ATM is a tank mine that, when exploded, can destroy a building very, very easily. 8 people were injured there on the first night.
looking ahead, I will say that we used as many as 6 AT mines in order to capture the complex of buildings at the Volchansky aggregate plant.
Well, when I found out about this in the morning, well, at the report, because, well, I didn't follow the broadcast at night, I found out in the morning. They will essentially look the rest and move away. There was such a position called AK. Now they retreated there. It turns out that there was an offensive, there was the RVC offensive there, as we already know. They began to test the waters precisely at this position because there were positions both higher and lower. But fighting with top positions is very difficult when you are supported by positions from below. In the end, if I'm not mistaken, as I understand it, their battle tactic are that they came in from both sides. Moreover, one side was maneuvering simply distracting so that the second would enter. Here there is the right side, there was a blue hangar behind. From this side they worked precisely with a provocative action so that the left side could enter without firing. Right. After they entered, the battle ensued, and there was If I'm not mistaken, yes, it was at that moment that the first prisoner was taken away. So a very small part of the people tried to give up the fight, but it was no use. It was necessary to retreat already. We understood that this was inevitable, that now would be the last planned battle already on the Adminka. But almost everyone was killed at the AK position, with the exception of 3 people, and then some of them did not behave themselves very nicely, but I'll tell you about that another time. And now there was only one Adminka and the southern part left. In the southern part, as I understand it, there was another unit because the battle tactics were completely different. There was precisely a provocation aimed at exhausting the enemy so that would simply end the battle. So, as for that Minka, the main building where I was, it was the first offensive, the first battle that we managed to repel, roughly speaking, like this. As I later found out, 2 anti-tank mines did not work. One of the 3 worked.
Yes.
This is how it turned out that the first attack was repelled, and plus there was still enough ammunition in the machine gun.
Here's how.
So, on the second, or rather the next day, another offensive began in the evening. Having gathered all our strengths, we tried, but it was already clear that the second floor had been taken over by a RVC. That is, on the corner there is a shooter. He just keeps his head down, waiting for his moment. That is, he is already above us. Plus, as one might say, he is playing around, throwing grenades and starting to provoke. On the left side, they distracted us so that we could continue wasting ammunition. Yes, and not alone. From the side of the dining room, diversity maneuver and large caliber work began. On this side, people have already gone behind our backs. Something like that. The battle was coming to an end because the guys on the other side had already seized the initiative, and the Russian corps has already begun to implement their plan, how they would work, and slowly began to move forward in order to effectively put the pressure on us.
Look, taking into account your years of service and combat experience, I still consider you as a professional military man. As a professional military man, how would you evaluate the tactics of your guys?
I will say that the guys did a very good job from a military point of view. First, your guys studied the situation, then they conducted reconnaissance, then once they tried to provoke and understand where there were the firing point that they did not see, and then they carried out a serious offensive and completed their work with us surrendering.
You could have continued the fight, put a bullet in your forehead. Why didn't you do that?
I didn't do it, probably because I want to live. But guys like me, it's probably not time for them to die. And the people from RVC told us, guys, finish it, what are you doing? That's it, you're already surrounded, you're in the ring, give up and you will be treated well.
What was the attitude? Be honest. Be honest.
I'll tell you how it is. I didn't even think that they could treat us so well. They spoke to us like human beings. They feed me, gave me something to drink, let me sleep, and gave me cigarettes. I did not hear a single rude word from any of the RVC fighters.
Keep this in mind, gentlemen, but I often hear some story. There are rumors that commanders are lying to Russian soldiers. They say they won't give up because they will be tortured, have their limbs cut off, and so on. Have you heard about this?
Of course, I heard it many times.
Who is spreading this?
Distributed by senior management, so that people do not surrender. They say fight to the end because you will be tortured.
Yes.
Ukrainians need to be destroyed because they are doing these things, torturing and killing. I repeat that in reality everything is completely different. Thanks to these people, I drank clean water normally, guys. I ate normally and my people are alive and receiving normal medical care. They were taken from the front and are safe.
In reality, in our captivity, they treat you much better than in the Russian army.
That's right.
Dmitri, what else do you have to say? Today I'm in the role of a good cop and you are in the role of a bad one.
No, I'm always good.
Understood.
What did I want to say? I don't believe what he says.
So, regarding what?
Regarding most of what he's been said.
So?
This seems to be just... Why don't I believe you?
So, you're a bad cop after all.
This is your personal opinion.
Yes, of course, this is my personal opinion.
But in defense of Dmitri, I can say that, of course, he already has incredible experience in this war. How much do you have? 1,000?
Yes, it's
Officially 1,000 interviews.
Why did you never name the countries in which you fought? Why didn't you say that you were in Georgia?
I wasn't asked about this. They didn't ask what conflicts I took part in.
What conflicts have you been involved in?
I was in Georgia, I was in Syria, I was in Crimea, I was in Chechnya on a change of deployment as an infantryman, was in Ukraine.
That's why I don't believe him.
Well, this is information and each of us reserves the right to believe it or not.
Who do you think is the worst of those currently in captivity? No, let's start with another question and we'll get to that shortly. Who is Krasavchik? Who is he by rank, by position? Why was he in charge and not you?
Yes, this question also remained unclear to me, Sergei. You, given your combat experience and such serious lengths of service, were not the senior one in the defense of the Volchansky plant, and a certain private Krasavchik ruled the defense.
Everything is elementary. He was the first to enter, which means he the senior.
Yeah.
The task of holding the plant, as I understand it, from what I heard, was assigned to his group. Right,
So?
and he was appointed senior by the group.
So?
And, in principle, he was a smart man, but he did not understand what a military affairs was.
Where was he from? What can you say about him?
If I'm not mistaken, he was from Moldova. He never fought anywhere or with anyone. He has no combat experience. It was just the person who could rule a little. I tried to help him in every possible way, but they didn't make me senior. I'll repeat it again because I came in later, and as I understand
You
it,
entered the plant only 2 days late.
I came in 20 days
Yes,
later.
it turns out that he came in later.
Why for 20 days?
For 20 days.
He was in a group that...
They went to the plant on May 19th. I went there on the 8th.
He came in June.
And what?
Nothing.
The second one was made
Yes, I
senior.
understand.
I was like...
Changing the senior, well, it defies logic. Compare it with how it works for you.
What you say it is contrary to logic, but let me remind you that we are fighting against the
I
Russian
explain
army.
it to
What
you now.
logic
There
could
are
there
sectors, for example. This is what the 1st Battalion is responsible for. This is what the 2nd Battalion is
So?
for. For this, the 3rd Battalion. We got there by
First
accident.
battalion.
That is the senior there should be from the 1st Battalion.
be? You
How
tried
did you end up there?
I told you
arriving
so.
in an infantry fighting vehicle, he spoke.
This is understandable,
On the
but...
BMP, and I, as I understand it, should have had a completely different task, which was simply not explained to us. They didn't tell us.
But you made no attempt to go to the command and tell them, guys, I understand.
I didn't want this. Here is the commander, so let it be.
Let him make a decision. Take
I
responsibility.
didn't avoid responsibility. I helped him in every possible way, suggested that it would be better to do it this way, like this, like this. Of course, yes, he decided a lot in his own way. A sad result.
Well, the fact that it's said...
Answer
yes.
my question that I asked before. Which of those who... First answer, do you know who is in captivity now?
Yes, I know those who were with me at the plant.
Not, well, those who have already been evacuated and
Who
who are
was
in
taken
captivity.
out and who is in captivity, yes, I know.
Yes, describe these people.
He can only know about those who went out with him, who were captured by the RVC
I understand,
fighters.
yes.
Well,
Let's start simple. Call sign Beda, the first one
let
to be
me tell
captured.
you this. There are no special forces there.
This means the CRV fighters.
No, why?
So
There
who
are
did we
no
defeat?
special forces soldier there.
Okay.
I may have expressed
Fine.
myself incorrectly. There are no special forces there, ordinary soldiers. Well, how can I judge people? People stood there with me until the end. How can I tell if it's bad or good?
Listen, in short, why should I beat around the bush? Throughout the conversation, judging by your words, everything seems to be good. beside the fact that you had poor provision. Right? Right?
Poor provision, there were no vacations, no rotation. There are already a lot of shortcomings.
Yes, but if you do not take this into account, then this is a valiant Russian army.
Well, I don't consider it valiant.
But what was the point if you were already surrounded?
By the way, yes.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it.
Yes, I'll tell you, there was no calculation, it was just a fight.
No, there was a fight and it was the last. The month
Yes,
of
it was
September.
still the
What did you
same.
expect?
There was probably still some hope, and we didn't know.
What about adjusting fire on buildings? There were your airstrikes. This moment with
I don't understand what you mean.
well,
There was a lot of shelling of your position by Russian artillery and aviation, by the way, too.
yes, and apparently from your building they adjusted where to shoot in order to hit it in their own
Don't
way.
swear.
I think it's too stupid, and it's never happened that the Russians bombed themselves.
Did any of you ask for an artillery strike on your
Yes, I
positions?
But in
Well,
the
this
end,
is
there
nonsense.
was no
You say
shelling.
that Russian artillery did not fire at you, and then you say that you asked
It
to
weren't
strike your
fired
position.
upon.
At
I
what
only
point?
asked for a blow at the end. On the very last evening, when we were already desperate, and before talking to the RVC group,
That is, can we say that you were ready to die at this plant?
yes,
For what?
it turns out it's
No.
pointless.
Tell me, what were you thinking at that moment when you were ready at 36 years old with 4 children to invite shelling on yourself, being at the Volchansky aggregate plant in Ukraine? What were you thinking and why were you willing to do it? This is a very important question on which you can lie to us.
Probably already tired of it.
But don't lie to
I saw
yourself.
this soul and wanted to end it.
Like a hero.
Probably even... No, most likely not as a hero, like a coward. I didn't even think about the guys who were near me, because I didn't coordinate this with them.
That is, you did not agree with them that you are now inviting Russian artillery fire on
Yes.
yourself? That is
But
their...
they heard it all. No one asked, what are you doing? Because they were at the same distance as
understand.
you and me. But after the dialogue, I'm very glad that it didn't work out.
It's not worth talking
Glad
about.
it didn't work out.
Okay.
There was no
okay.
connection.
What is confrontation?
A confirmation is when two people sit and they are asked the same questions and they answer them.
Did you pass it?
Yes, that happened to me.
Was. We need to repeat it.
We can repeat what they say in your homeland.
Yes.
Look.
Yes.
Well, or what?
Yes.
Yes, Dmitry now wants to take one of the prisoners from the factory. They have their own view of the situation, and I understand that these are those who were from the other
Yes.
side. Call them.
So, what do we have? I speak loudly because we have 2 prisoners from one aggregate plant, and the story of one is different from the story of the second. I don't have a microphone, I shout. To my left is Sergei, his call sign, what?
Altai.
Altai. And on the right, he is right there. This is, in short,
Also Sergei.
Khishnik. Yes, fine. Tell me, please, when was the last time you ate chocolate?
Apart from when I was in captivity.
No, before captivity.
Before captivity, I don't even remember when I probably lay wounded.
When was this?
I went to bed wounded on July 4th. Well, a couple of times they brought a quarter of a chocolate bar, maybe even less than a quarter.
Did you eat chocolate in September?
No. They did not deliver chocolate to us.
They did not deliver. Actually, I have several questions. I remind subscribers...
To the scribes.
To the scribes. The RVC commander came up with a new word. This Sergei was in captivity... Not in captivity, but in a factory, and he looks fine, he hasn't lost any weight. And that one really has anorexia. You saw him in the previous video on YouTube. He said that they were given as such food as they were given. Everything was equal.
I can't say this for sure because we listened to the radio very often. They knew what was ordered and when, what exactly they asked for. We've heard it all. And as it is, if some of the guys were alive, they would confirm this. That they ordered all sorts of goodies, they make cigarettes for themselves. Cookies, waffles. The boys came to us and talked about it, why they were sitting there finishing off some waffles. They have sausage, cheese. What do we have? A pack of pasta and can of
Have
stew.
you ever had cigarettes delivered to your building?
Yes, it was all passed on from cigarettes.
Waffles, cookies.
Neither bread, no waffles. We have never seen anything like this.
Sergey, you have the floor.
My word, I'll tell you, everything is simple.
Let's just not...
Sausage, cheese, and some additional sweets came to the scouts. And there is also Koba who can confirm. It is with you, to whom it came personally, and he said, you cut this, let it be on the table, and I will eat this. As he saw fit, he disposed of his parcel.
Who is Koba?
Prisoner of war,
Who was he for you there?
soldier, fighter.
How is Koba different from the rest?
Well, as I understand it, Bates is some very good friend or relative of his who send him parcels separately.
But that's what at the command post. The same as Yenot.
Yes, and about chocolates, I can say that Asror personally reported that on September 14 or 13 we found 2 packages of chocolate. Asror, there was not such thing. We didn't find any chocolate or anything. He said in a veiled manner on air 2 boxes step. We didn't find it, sadly, so they didn't share it with you. We couldn't find it. We were afraid to run out because we ordered the parcels for ourselves. When he asked for help for you to storm the building, when they started shelling you, we didn't go because we knew it would be certain death. Did I ask? Yes. You asked on the radio. I even remember when you argued with Oka. Oka simply insulted you over the radio that you were a coward.
This is the one who ran away.
Yes, who ran away to Kashay. Well, I don't know.
I know.
They were swearing, everyone heard it. Certainly, this is what everyone has heard.
RVC listened to your radio communication, and
Well,
so
basically,
I'm
you heard
confirming his
everything
words.
you wanted about chocolate, sausage, and cheese. Why and where did it come from, and why was it eaten
Do
there?
you know what I see now?
What?
I see now, really, no offense intended. Rahid, who was starving and can barely speak now, has been eating for 3 days now.
Yes.
He ate sandwiches with honey yesterday, I saw him. Well, their bread
Yes,
with
yes, they
honey they
treated me.
gave him yesterday. And I see you who feels fine, a pumped-up guy who is doing well. To your left sit the same soldier, also a private, who can barely move his tongue from
Yes.
exhaustion. This is the largest and most correct...
What is my fault? Or do you want to blame me for something? What is my fault?
Yes.
What?
Well, objectively, you took all the food for yourself and they died
Why
there.
do you think so? Why are you trying to shift this blame onto me?
Well, look,
I just don't understand. The commanders
It
cut
doesn't
me a
mean-
piece of cheese for their parcels. Tell me how you communicated with people. That's it. Should I tell them
Which
about
one
how
exactly?
you beat the person? The one you beat off, his commander later punished him, and then we sent him to fetch water, and because of you, he even
What
wanted
kind
to
of
return.
person?
I don't even remember what his call sign was.
Musician, probably.
No, not the musician.
Who then?
Who, when we were all running to the river, was punished by authorities and put in a hole. As you tried to beat me, you told me that you would shoot
With
me.
pleasure.
What did
With
you tell
pleasure.
me there? What bullet is
With
waiting
pleasure.
for me?
I
Over
repeat
the
once
radio,
again.
I then started making accusations against you. You eat pasta 3 times a day through yourself your cans of stew. I was lying wounded with you. What did you feed me? You give me a
Who
little bit of
exactly?
pasta. And they
Who are
themselves
you
eat
talking
2
about
servings.
now?
You and Krasavchik.
Who was in
Who
charge
else
of
was
this?
there with you?
If
you
you
were
raise your
Krasavchik
voice,
right
no
hand.
one will have time to save you.
How
No
not
one
to
will
raise
have time
because
to
everyone
save
is
you.
angry at you.
And it's not my fault.
Because we
Exactly,
are all angry
Krasavchik
at you,
distributed
and
food and
Krasavchik.
So,
whatever
everything
he
is calm.
considered necessary, not me.
And you're his
Why
right
do you
hand.
think so?
So
when did
everything
I
is
become a
calm.
commander? When was I constantly on duty? From 5 to the morning to 9 in the evening.
Have you become a commander? I myself told them to remove
But
you
I was
from your
never a
position.
commander. I was
I
not a
say
commander.
that you're a scum
Stop.
and not a commander.
If you talk like that now, I'm telling you, no one will have time.
They will have time. There's
I'll rip out
security
your
here.
throat.
Don't make noise.
Understood?
Do you believe in yourself?
I always believe in myself, unlike
quiet,
you.
quiet.
Believe me, you shouldn't talk to me
Wait.
like that. I am talking to you calmly.
Calm down.
All
Calm
is
down.
fine. Calm
That's
down.
it. Boss fell silent because there are people there with pistols and guns who.
I'm
This
guilty.
issue will be resolved quickly. No need to play a hero because there are no heroes in captivity. You know that too. And there is no need to
Yes,
say that
exactly.
you will harm someone. After all, you don't see what's happening behind your back. Okay? But this social experiment has just proven what I wanted to convey to my subscribers.
What did you prove?
What do you think I proved?
I don't know.
Well, think about it. You're so smart.
I don't know. I can't understand what you were trying to prove.
Write in the comments what I tried
And
to
what
prove.
is my fault? I don't understand. Is it that someone mismanaged food that was not distributed evenly across positions? The fact that someone serves food unevenly? Already Krasavchik is no longer alive. It's not my fault, and if someone there begged for a parcel when there was an opportunity to send it to us, this happened only 2 times. But S sent this friend a piece of cheese twice this entire time. This has only happened twice. There were 2 parcels in total.
Wait,
When the package
wait.
arrived, they gradually shared this cheese
Wait.
with me and
Do you
everyone.
believe what you see?
Yes, sure, and that's a fact. This person is in your
Describe
captivity.
his
Ask
physical condition.
him. Nothing in principle, as it was.
Describe your condition in comparison
Exactly the
with
same.
his. In short, we understand everything. He's got muscle there, biceps, and everything else. He is in general shape. And he has anorexia. How much did he weigh before the factory?
80 kilograms.
80. How much do you weigh now?
Probably 40.
How much did he weigh before the factory?
92.
And now?
70.
Is there a difference?
No difference.
No difference.
I never saw him weight 80 kilogram when he came to the factory. This is impossible. 80 for his height is nonsense.
I knew
this is
you
a
would
lie.
say this.
But I saw him when he came in. What 80? Look at his height.
I saw his reaction, okay? Briefly speaking, dear subscribers, we will end the conversation on this positive note. I don't know whether I can be seen or not. Well, here is one thing, here is the second. You understood my opinion by my mood. I still think that this prisoner is lying. He said that no one killed their own. He doesn't talk about
I
it.
told you that he will deny it. Like the one here
Yes.
who say that he did not kill, but in the end it turned out that he killed his own.
Yes. I would like to add on my own behalf, he is the one who imagines that he is supposedly a hero. In fact, he's a dummy. He just got through it better, because he was at a point where there was a lot of food. So, you know what to do next.